Yeah, and they started to introduce Islam to Indonesian people, and because it was so peaceful, then Raisi has paid a official visit to Indonesia and met with President Joko Widodo, and they signed 11 very important bilateral agreements with each other.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hari ini saya kedatangan tamu istimewa yang beliau adalah Yang Mulia Muhammad Borjeri, Duta Besar Republik Islam Iran untuk Indonesia. Assalamualaikum. Good morning.
Waalaikumsalam. Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pemirsa, kita akan berbincang-bincang tentang Iran yang sebenarnya punya hubungan yang cukup erat ya dari zaman dulu masuknya Islam ke Indonesia, tapi kita belum banyak tahu ternyata juga banyak kata-kata dalam bahasa Persia, ada 700-an yang masuk dalam bahasa Indonesia. Excellency, so I learned that this is not a new posting for you. I mean, you have been here before, around 20 years ago. How do you find Indonesia after 20 years ago back to Jakarta again?
Yeah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to discuss about Iran and Indonesia relations. Actually, I have been here, as you mentioned, sir, I have been here more than 20 years ago, and I can say that I am the best witness to talk about the development and progress that Indonesia made during the last 20 years. I was in Indonesia around year 2000, and at that time I was the head of the political section of the embassy. I was in Indonesia for 3 years and went back to Iran and came back to Indonesia just 6 months ago. I presented my credentials to His Excellency President Joko Widodo around 4 months ago, and I was really surprised and shocked with the progress that Indonesia has made during the last 20 years, and especially during the last 10 years. Sometimes I can say that in, Jakarta itself was a big village at that time, but nowadays we can say it's a very big metropolitan city. So
With all the traffic, yeah?
yeah,
One of the
traffic
problems.
jam is the same. Yeah, the traffic jam has not changed. Even you also a lot of improvement in the public transportation, but still I can enjoy the traffic jam as well.
No, Excellency, I learned that actually there's been a long history of relations between Iran and Indonesia, and some hundreds of words actually coming from Persian. Could you tell us about the history? I mean, from the past, you know, and
Yeah.
I learned from you also that you know some of the Wali Songo actually originated from
Yes.
from Iran.
Yes, actually, Iran and Indonesia relationship goes back to the hundreds years ago. Even before Islam, there was a relation between the islands that at that time they were not calling Indonesia, but there were islands here, and there was a very good relation between Iran and Java and other islands of Indonesia. But from 700 to 800 years ago, Iranian merchants started to have good cooperation, business cooperation with Indonesia, and they came to Indonesia with the ships to bring some Iranian goods for Indonesia, and just some importing some goods like spices and other things from Indonesia to Iran. And at that time they started to introduce Islam to Indonesia, so some of the merchants stayed in Indonesia and lived in Indonesia, and some of them nowadays are being known as the Walisunga. I can tell that most of the Walisunga were from Iran at that time, but Iran at that time was bigger than now, so maybe after Iran has been shrink and get smaller, so maybe some of them nowadays are outside Iran today. But at that time they were from Iran, and if you go to the shrine of the some of the Walisunga, you can see. I went to shrine of Syed Ibrahim Maghrebi. It is mentioned in the introduction of the shrine that Syed Ibrahim Maghrebi is from Persia, but it mentions that from Persia in the Arab world, something like that. And they started to introduce Islam to Indonesian people, and because it was so peaceful, you know, they say in Indonesia, Islam is so peaceful because Islam did not come here with the war. It came here just peacefully. And
actually, most religions came to Indonesia very peacefully. Even Islam, Hindu came first.
Yeah, because Indonesians are so peaceful people.
Now, could you mention some words that originally from Persian and now exactly the same pronunciation and meaning in bahasa Indonesia?
Yeah, there are many words.
Like bandar, anggur.
Yes, Persian words that you can find nowadays in Indonesian language. With the same pronunciation and the same meaning as you mentioned. We have anggur, we have gandum, we have pahlawan, we have with the same pronunciation and same meaning. We could find around 700 common words between Indonesian and Persian language. So we have a very deep cultural ties between the nations of Iran and Indonesia that goes back to many years ago. So yes, that's it.
Now, if we talk about the bilateral relations in many aspects, how do you see the current relation between Iran and Indonesia, politically, economically, trade, investment, and so on?
Yes. In the aspect of political relation, we have very good friendly relation with Indonesian government and people. We have very common stance and positions with Indonesian in the international and regional issues. For example, about the Palestine, we almost have the same position in the international organizations against the occupation of Palestine by the Zionist regime of Israel. We have very good cooperation in the international organizations in the world. In the field of trade and investment, previously we had a very good relation. Nowadays it's reduced a little bit because of the sanctions, unilateral sanctions that United States has made on us. From 2016, Indonesian government decided to stop importing Iranian oil and gas, so it reduced a little bit. But nowadays, still we have a good relation. The trade relation between two countries is nowadays around $300 million. But we are trying to just boost that. We are going to just accelerate that, and in the investment area, it's not much today because of the sanctions. Some of the Indonesian companies nowadays are so cautious about the sanctions. They think maybe the sanction will affect their relation with the other countries. But I can say that nowadays we have bilateral trade and
what do you import from Indonesia mostly? What?
Nowadays we import palm oil, tropical fruits, some of the machinery, some of the electronics,
yeah.
and we export to Indonesia mostly something like
like medical equipment. I think they are
yeah,
very strong
yeah.
on this field, yeah, medical equipment.
Yeah, you know, sir, last year, President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, President Raisi, has paid an official visit to Indonesia and met with President Joko Widodo, and they signed 11 very important bilateral agreements with each other, and in the many fields of cultural, economic, and political fields. And that visit, Iranian side introduced some of the Iran advancement in the producing of the medical equipments, like surgeon robot. We introduced the surgeon robot to Indonesian side, and because Indonesians Indonesia has many remote distance islands, so they are so interested. If there is a patient in one island, they can just make the surgery from another island, and sometimes because of the climate problem, it is not possible to go to the other islands and make the surgery. So they do that by computer and by robot from very far distance. And Indonesia has bought some of them so far. And when I met His Excellency Minister of Health of Indonesia, His Excellency showed the country's interest in importing more healthcare equipment for Indonesia.
So actually, it's okay, you know, if we import medical equipment from Iran. It's not part of the sanctions.
I can tell you, Excellency, sorry, sir, nothing is under the sanction nowadays, but the oil and gas and military equipments, and also that one is only under sanctions of the United States. There is no international or United Nations sanctions on Iran anymore. But the problem is when we are going to sell something, because they said you have no problem with the healthcare equipments if you are going to, for example, import or export medicine or something like that, you have no problem with that. But the problem is when you cannot just transfer the money, so you will have to sell anything and buy anything nowadays. Of course, we are doing our best to have the relation with many countries, because many countries like Indonesia, they don't accept unilateral sanctions from the United States. United States cannot dictate everything to the all the countries. They just decide based on their own national interests. So many countries you can see in Asia, in Africa, even in some Europe countries, even in Southern America, in Latin America, we have good relation with them, and we are having trade relation with them. But still, we can say that it has affected the Iranian relation, and we cannot just deny that.
You are under sanction, my notes, since 1979.
Yes.
But Iran still survive, even some fields of technology even more advanced. You know, how could you survive with this?
Yeah, we believe that
even military equipment also getting stronger, and you produce a very sophisticated drone, for example.
Yeah, that's correct. There is a saying in Persian language that goes, if some disease does not kill you, it will make you stronger. So it happened for Iran. The United States thought that with the sanction they can weaken Iran, but when we don't give anything to us, we try to build it by ourselves. For example, we have many patients that they don't have their medicine in Iran. Previously, even for the cancer and other severe the diseases, we didn't have any kind of access to the medicine for them. And we tried to just produce that, and we succeeded to do that. Or for the vaccination, you know that
during the COVID.
yeah, during the COVID,
era.
all the Western countries denied to just export vaccination, COVID vaccination to Iran, but Iranian companies tried and they made Iranian.
You produce yourself the
Yes.
vaccine.
Yes, and nowadays I can tell you that 270 vaccinations are being produced in Iran with the first grade technology of the world. Even some advanced and developed country of the world, they are importing from Iran. They don't have the technology because we decided to do that by ourselves. We decided that if the Western companies are not going to have relation with Iran, so we are going to do by ourselves, and we succeeded in many areas. You know, in
You even produce your own car, yeah?
yes. Beside car, you know that in some science and technology in the world nowadays, Iran is one of the most of them. Iran is one of the 4 best countries of the world. For example, in nanotechnology, in biotechnology, in
even nuclear technology.
Even
also.
nuclear technology, nuclear peaceful technology for medicine, for agriculture. We are the best in the world. Unfortunately, for nuclear medicine, also Indonesian side is interested to import nuclear medicine from Iran. But the problem is, you know, that the nuclear medicine has got some kind of lifetime, 10 to 14 hours. So because we don't have direct flight from Tehran to Jakarta, it's impossible to import the nuclear medicine from to here. But they can use it for the diagnosis of the diseases and also for the cure. It's very common. Many neighboring countries are enjoying to use the Iranian nuclear medicine as well, because they are near to Iran and they can just obey the lifetime.
What is your relation with Middle Eastern countries like the Gulf countries and others?
You know, if there is no foreign interfere, we have very good relation with our neighbors and also Middle East countries and also CIS countries. The relation between, I always say to my Saudi Arab friends here that Iran and Saudi Arabia are 2 brothers. Sometimes we have some problem with each other, but you can see that even between the brothers you can see sometimes problems. But we have no way.
Even between husband and wife we have problems.
Yes, that's correct. And they say if you have more problem, it means you love each other more.
Yeah, like you know, like Indonesia and Malaysia, you know.
Yes,
we have more problem with our relation, but because we are close.
but you cannot avoid each other because you belong to the same culture, you belong to the same area, you have many common culture and politics. That's the same in the Middle East. We have no way but the cooperation with our neighboring countries, and they know that. Nowadays we have better relation. Previously the misunderstanding were more than today, but nowadays, alhamdulillah, we have very good relation with the neighboring countries and very better understanding of each other. Yes.
Now this is a bit more sensitive, you know. Which has less understanding, especially in Indonesia, between Sunni and Shia. You know, even some here people still regard that Shia is not Islam, but we have the same prayer and so on. So could you explain? You know, because I think not much you know comprehensive information about what these differences.
Yes, I ask you, sir, what is the definition of a Muslim? A Muslim is a person who believes in Allah. Allah is one, and he believes in Prophet Muhammad as the last prophet of Allah, and believes in Quran as the holy book, and believes in the judgment day, the life after this life, and this is Muslim. So Shia and Sunni, both of them believe in these principles. I tell you, sir, and I tell to the Indonesian people that when the Islamic revolution in Iran happened, what was the name of the revolution? The Islamic revolution or the Shia revolution? It was Islamic revolution. You can find
even the official name is
yes,
Islamic Republic.
And also after that we established the Islamic Republic of Iran, not the Shia Republic of Iran. It means that we did not want to separate Shia from Sunni. There are many Sunni, a big population of Sunnis in Iran. They are living, they have their MPs in the parliament, they have their rights to worship whatever they want, and however they want. And there is a very small differences between Shia and Sunni in the field of the historical, you know, just it's historical, because we believe after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ali alayhi salam was the person who must be the leader of the Ummah, but Sunnis believe that it must be the Khulafa.
So Ali is, according to your belief, is not a prophet actually, or a prophet?
No, not at all. Ali is a believer of the, Ali is a person who is the son-in-law for Prophet Muhammad, and nearest person to the Prophet Muhammad. And he was not a prophet, he was only a person who was under the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. And that's it. Nowadays, we say prayers to the same God. We have the same Quran. We have the same Qibla. We say prayers to the same Qibla.
Because the general understanding here, the difference is because you believe that Ali is not a prophet, you know. But in the other hand, you believe Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet, you know. So there's a bit of confusion here.
You know, sir, after the Islamic revolution was succeed in Iran, there was a big problem for the Zionists and some Western countries, that they were afraid if this idea of na sharqi na gharbi, it means no west, no east, only the Islamic ways. This was a new way. You know, at that time the world has been just divided to two blocks: East bloc, Eastern bloc, Communist bloc, and Western bloc, capitalist bloc. So, an Islamic revolution of Iran came and just claimed that we have a new third way, that we call it Islamic way. At that time, they thought how they can stop Islamic Ummah not to obey Iranian way. So they decided to just, exaggerate about Shia, and they say it's Iranian Shia revolution, and it does not do anything with Islam, and they believe in Ali, and they believe in another Quran, and they believe in something else. But I tell you, as a Shia Muslim, I tell you, all of them are false. Here in Indonesia, every night, every Friday, I go to Salat Friday to Istiqlal Mass.
So you can go everywhere as long as it's mosque.
Just Masjid Sunda Kelapa is near to my house, so I go for the prayers sometimes to Masjid Sunda Kelapa. I say my prayers with my Sunni brothers in Iran. You can ask from the Sunni people in Iran; they are living very easily, and they have no problem.
What is the percentage of Sunni in Iran?
I'm not sure about the percentage, but I know that many provinces in Iran are mostly Sunnis in the southern Iran, in the western Iran, Kurdistan, in the eastern Iran, Sistan, Baluchistan, and even in Khorasan, in the province of Khorasan, we have many Sunni people, and they have even some of the Iranian high-ranking officials are Sunnis. For example, the commander of the Iranian Navy, General Shahram Irani, is a Sunni person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's no conflict actually in Iran yet between Sunni and Shia?
In Iran, nothing between Sunni and Shia. We have problem with each other about other things. For example, we have some separation problem from some provinces that they think that they must be some of the people. It is provoked from outside, but between Shia and Sunni we have no problem. And anybody that goes from Indonesia to Iran and comes back, they say Shia and Sunni are living their lives with each other and they have no problem with each other. But you know, they invested for propaganda against Iran, but they did not have anything but to say Shia is something else. Shia is different. Shia is the prayer is different. The Quran is different. They worship Ali. They believe Ali is more than Prophet Muhammad. But all of them are false. I myself, as a Shia person, just say here that we believe that Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet of Allah, and Ali is the Imam for the Ummah after Prophet Muhammad, and Ali did not receive any wahy from Allah, and he was not a prophet, and he did not have anything. He did not do anything with Quran, just reading and following Quran and following the.
Yeah, there has been misunderstanding on this.
Yes, we can say misunderstanding, or we can say some kind of the plan from the Zionists to separate between the Islamic Ummah. Zionist regime, because they are afraid if the Muslims are together, they cannot just go for, you know, Gaza, and after that for West Bank, and after that for other countries. So, you know that the problem in the world nowadays is not only the Zionist regime. The only problem and the biggest problem is the separation between the Islamic countries. If they are united, there would be no Zionist regime. So they do their job very well. They just try to separate Iran
with the
from
power
Indonesia.
of media, you know.
Yeah, they find how they can separate us from each other. For example, they say you are Sunni, you are Shia. You know, sir, even in Sunnis we have several sects. Shafi, Maliki, Hanbali, Hanafi. Even in Shia we have several sects. Zaydi, Ismaili, and others. So the difference between some Sunni sects is bigger than Sunni and Shia itself. You know, between Wahhabis and Shafis. You know, the gap is so big, bigger than between Wahhabis and between Shafis and Shias. Here, I can see that all Indonesian people respect the children of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They call themselves Reza, Ali, Hassan, Hussein, and they have no problem with the Imams. And Imam Shafi'i taught that Shia is the fifth school of Islam. So we have no problem. And you can see that as I mentioned, the gap between Wahhabi and Shafi'i is much bigger than the gap between Shafi'i and Shia. But they try to exaggerate about that. They say they are Shia, they are not Muslim, they are something, to just to make the separation between the Islamic Ummah. That's the plan. It is not misunderstanding, sir.
I met some Iranians in Indonesia, in Australia. I was in Australia for 11 years. And they said they belong to Baha'i. Is it Baha'i a religion or just belief?
Baha'i is not a religion and it's not a belief. Baha'i is one of the other plans that they try to make some that's just to take Islam from its way. Anybody in the world that they say that we belong, that we believe to Allah Jalala, and they accept that Prophet Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the last prophet of Allah, and they say that believe in the Quran, we just accept them and we believe that they are believers. No difference what sex they belong, but you know, even with the Christians, even with the Jews, they have MPs in the Iranian parliament right now. Last night I had a cardinal of Indonesia for iftar in my home.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we have no problem because I told to the cardinal that we are worshipping the same God with a different name. You know, we don't want to just put the name something that make separation between us.
So there are actually Christianity in Iran.
Yes, we have a very ancient and big minority of Christians in Iran. Also, we have Jews in Iran, many Jews. Also, we have Zoroastrians in Iran, and all of them have their own MPs in the parliament. They have their representative. They have their mosque.
They're representing
inside the parliament. Yes,
parliament.
yes.
Representing a political party that they established. Or?
They don't have political parties because in political parties in Iran is not formed very well nowadays. We have some political parties, but the system of the parliament is not based of the political parties. People do not vote for the political parties; they vote for the persons. So political parties introduce the persons to the people, and people just vote for them. I don't think they have a political parties, but they introduce their MPs, and people go and vote for them, and they go inside the parliament. I don't know how many of them are in the parliament right now, but I know that many Sunni, Christians, Jews, Zoroastrians, and some other minorities they have their own MPs in the parliament.
Now we come to the most difficult part of the question.
Yeah.
Now the U.S. accused Iran as a member of the axis of evil. Yeah.
Yes.
Because of
we
supporting.
Also call them great Satan.
Because of that's what they claim, because of supporting terrorism. And in this case, with Hezbollah and Hamas, how do you explain on this?
You know, why Indonesia is supporting Palestine?